My name is John, and I am a nobody. This week's story is hopefully an uplifting one. It's a continuation of last week's story. The older a person gets, like me, the more important it is to remember the positive people you have known throughout your life, and one of them features in this particular tale. His name was Willie, or is Willie Pollock, and he is a saxophone player. Now, I was playing in a cover band, the Motown Lovers, and we did a lot of gigs, a lot of weddings, some events, and it's important to have a band that you can access, musicians, singers that you can access, because usually the good ones are busy. So for this particular event, I had Willie on saxophone, who had been recommended by our saxophone player, Ben King Pearkov. And I was waiting outside on the street, outside the rehearsal hall, to guide him into where we were rehearsing. And as he walked down the street, I knew he was a black guy and played alto sax. So he was walking down the street with his little case, and I liked him already. It was a very strange thing. I liked him from the first time I saw him. We rehearsed, everything was fine. And later we did a wedding concert. Always a very special occasion for me, because weddings are usually a once in a lifetime thing. So it's not just like another gig. It's something that people will remember forever, hopefully. So our singer was not available for the gig, so I got another girl who had sung for The Lion King in a theatre production in Hamburg. She was very good. She was also from South Africa. She wore high-heeled shoes, red shoes, which I'll never forget. And we were playing, and she was great. And then she suddenly disappeared into the crowd. And all I remember is seeing this flurry of red heels as she disappeared into the public. Afterwards, she went back to the hotel, and I went out with the band. I thought it would be nice to have a little celebratory beer somewhere in a bar. We could find one. This was close to Hamburg. So we walked around for a while looking for a bar, because it was already late. And I found one, and I went down to check it out. And because we were all in suits with ties, this guy came up and asked if I was just come from a funeral, which was funny. So we went further down the road, because they were not really our crowd, and we ended up in this subterranean bar, which didn't have many people in it. We all walked in, sat at the bar, had a beer. And the wonderful thing about Willie Pollock is that he was from the south of, the deep south of the United States, while I was from the deep south too of the UK, which is not quite the same, but still, he had a wonderful accent, or has a wonderful accent. So we were sitting there supping our beers and just relaxing, And he said, John, I think this is a fairy bar. But, you know, I've been to gay bars before, but I didn't think it was a fairy bar. And I said, nah, I don't think so, Willie. I don't think it is. I went to relieve myself at one stage during the evening, and I'm standing at the urinal, and in front of me was a poster, which I've never forgotten. It was a man with a cowboy hat on. Otherwise, he was completely naked, and he had his member, his large member, in his hand, and he was urinating. So I walked back to the bar and said to Willie, Willie, I think you're right. I think this is a fairy bar. The gig was great. The fairy bar evening was great. And the whole evening was enjoyable. The thing is, today, these days, it's become fashionable to divide people up into different groups, including the skin color. And with the saxophone player, I never had that problem. So with Willie, we did this big outside gig in a park in Berlin. And I'll leave a link downstairs. It's well worth watching. My suggestion to him was that he just come on stage through the audience playing his saxophone without a microphone, and we would see what happens. He had a little saxophone, alto saxophone, which was black, and I said to him once, why do you play a black saxophone? I've never seen that before. And he said, in that wonderful accent of his, John, I do a lot of funeral work. Anyway, the evening was great. The late afternoon was great. We had two wonderful singers, KG from South Africa. She'd already won a TV singing contest. And we had Sylvie, who I had to get in because Gabriella had temporarily decided to leave the band. She joined later, so I got Sylvie in, who also won a singing competition on TV. So there was the whole band was there, the two guitar players, the two singers. It was a wonderful, wonderful experience. And thank you very much, Frank, for the film that he made of that wonderful afternoon. And I hope you enjoy it too. The great thing about Willie was, apart from the divide, it wasn't a black and white thing. It's just, we got on really well. And once we were sitting outside, having a cup of coffee, and I was thinking to myself, you know, we have so much in common. The songs that he grew up with, the songs that his mother sang him, are probably the same songs that my mother sang me. It was just a wonderful experience, and we shared the same birthday, which was quite a coincidence, and I was amazed to discover that. I was even more amazed to discover that we also shared the same year on our birthdays. So we were exactly the same age. I've been born in the deep south of the UK, and he'd been born in the deep south of the USA on the same day, which was a Saturday evening, which is when most bands go out on stage. Well, I hope you enjoyed this one, and do check out the little short video clip of the live gig, which was, according to one of the organisers, the second best gig they'd ever had there. I still don't know who got the top spot, but it doesn't really matter. Second best is fine with me. Take care of yourself and those you love, and I hope to see you in the next one. And until then, Tschüssikowski.